Hello and welcome to the Women's Inspire Network show, and we are going to be interviewing Rachel from Our New Ears. We like to support charities when we're doing our show, so Rachel, it's great to see you here.
Thank you so much for inviting us, Samantha.
You're welcome, and it's something close to my heart. Anyway, my daughter is hearing impaired and she has 2 hearing aids, and I found your group on Facebook and it has helped me a lot. So do you want to tell people who are watching a little bit about it?
Well, our group, Our New Ears, is founded about 5 years ago now. I'm part of the 2 women that founded it. We were originally kind of a political campaign asking the government for funding for the cochlear implant department.
Yes.
And as that kind of became successful and filtered down, and there was going to be kind of a dispatch, we were all going to leave and go back, we were quite vehemently asked, there's going to be a gap. Where do parents stay? Where do we stand? You know, we suddenly had a voice. Are we now going to just return to not having a voice?
Yes.
So we decided to make it very small.
Yeah.
We made it just a Facebook support group,
Yeah.
which was just going to be online, you know, a little bit of admin work, very basic, and connect families.
Yes.
And 5 years later, it has changed to be something much more than what we envisaged, but something that we did desire. So we're delighted the progress we've made.
And you see, that's one thing people don't talk about with social media is, you know, social media, you hear all the negative things, but you don't hear about the positive difference that someone like you and the other lady, what's her name? Sorry?
With Lorraine Murphy was with us at the start.
So yourself and Lorraine, like what you've started is a support network and communication for someone. Like I know when my daughter got diagnosed, I felt terribly lonely and isolated, and I felt like, oh my gosh, you know, there was questions I had and I didn't know where to ask those questions. And so you created something really, really special for these people. Yeah.
Well, it was really just about connection. When you have deaf children, one of the first things that's going to settle in your mind is communication, connection, that distance. How do you bridge that distance? And it's about seeing someone else 2 steps down the road. They don't necessarily have to be an adult. 2 steps down the road is enough to say, we can make that, we can take that, we can go that direction. There is positivity there. And it's very, very nice to have someone who's a parent bring that to you. It's not a medical perspective, it's a whole child perspective. It's the individuality of your family and how it worked within your family. Because 95% of deaf children are born to hearing parents. So the first deaf person you will know intimately is most likely your baby.
Wow.
So to kind of bridge that, to say you're not alone, you're not the only, there's 95% of all children, this is the situation they're in.
Wow.
And social media definitely gets a bad rap, but when you have a child who's got complex needs, which many of our families do as well as being deaf, the avenue to meet other people is really, really difficult. It can be challenging to get out of the house. We're a small country in Ireland, but we definitely are very remote. We definitely have areas that people try to stay comfortable in. So the connection at home at 9 o'clock on a Monday night with another family is amazing. And there's a fierce protection involved as well, because you've got your children, but there's also a step away. You're not bringing your children into it, you're just speaking with another adult. So it's kind of very, very safe. So that's where the kind of social media side of it developed. And it's grown and grown, and we really, really are pleased that people seem to be positive and they seem to share what they know in a really non-judgmental way.
Well, that's it, you see, and I think that's really important, because I remember when we went to that open weekend for new parents of newly diagnosed children, and I remember there was a young fella there, and he was a soccer player and he was deaf, and it kind of gave me hope when I met him, because I kind of went, oh my gosh, you know, maybe my daughter can have a normal life. And he was so cool, and he had the earring and he had the spiky hair, and it just kind of normalized it. It just gave me hope. And I think what you're actually giving parents is a bit of hope, and also that support. I know that I have put up posts every now and then asking a question that I didn't know the answer to, like, where can I learn sign language, for example, you know, what kind of uniform, what colour is the jumper that she has to wear to the school, or, you know, things like that. And it's just simple things like that. So it's called Our New Ears. OUR, Our New Ears. And you're on Twitter as well.
We're on Twitter, LinkedIn. We have a public Facebook group, which is where we kind of raise awareness, because people will keep returning to us to say, I get it, my husband now gets it, maybe the teacher gets it, but our wider family may not be quite there yet.
True, yes.
Or, you know, my neighbours are always asking me questions. I wish they knew, you know, not to say it this way, or, you know, what this meant. So we have kind of a public page as well.
Very
and
good.
that's after growing really, really big. I think we nearly have 4,000 followers there.
Yes.
And then people can share the information. But there's nothing personal or private there. That's
true.
very much so about getting awareness out. And then we've got our private support group, which is only parents of deaf children.
Brilliant.
So that's where you ask your questions. And it's the small questions that people don't ask the professionals because they feel they should know the answer. So you no judgment asking another parent, how do I twist off this battery? I have no clue. She showed me, I should know, and I've done it before, but you just forget. And to know, what is the sign for such and such, or that someone else will just have that answer straight away. It doesn't take them any time. And it also bolsters the person giving the advice.
True.
Because they suddenly feel a little bit more capable.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, because as parents, we're our own worst enemy. We judge ourselves, we worry ourselves, but we are able to do just about anything that's asked of us.
Yeah.
Their love is a fair, strong push, you really do strive with that little push of love from your own children. So it's wonderful to see.
And we just want the best for them, so we just, but and we don't want to look like we're struggling either, and there's a lot of pride there and stuff as well. So I think what you're doing is amazing, and I totally support your group and what you do. So tell us a little bit about Rachel, though. We're just going to do our little usual fun questions. So tell us a bit about yourself, though, and how you ended up in this situation.
Everyone wants to find a passion in life. Sometimes your passion finds you. I had my children quite young. I have a boy and a girl. But my first daughter was diagnosed as deaf. I was after doing business and marketing in college. I decided that I kind of didn't want to be in an office. I had my child and I was doing baking, so I had a bakery. That was really, really lovely. It was really enjoyable, loved it all, but it really changed when the diagnosis.
Yeah.
You really have to say, what do I want?
Yes.
I enjoy my life and I'm enjoying my job, but if I invest, and it's different than business, when it comes to charity, it's about investing in people.
Yeah.
Your collateral is your children. This is the time to put things in. So I took a step back. I tried to work with my child, and then I started to notice that there was an awful lot of cracks.
Yeah.
And I met a couple of other families. There was a little kind of merge on Facebook where we just met other people randomly from different events that we'd attended. And we kind of started to notice, the reoccurring theme of someone saying, if someone else had done this 10 years ago, or if that was changed 5 years ago, it would be different for our children. And once that was said, I could never go back. I could never be the person who acknowledged that if I change something now, it will never have to be changed in 10 years' time. No one will even know about it. It's not about credit or reward. It's about removing an obstacle that's there, because it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really important. So, I had my daughter, and then when I went for a cochlear implant surgery for her, I was pregnant again and I had my son. So I had a second child, and he again was deaf. So we kind of figured out then it's a genetic condition.
Right.
But they're both brilliant, happy children.
Yes.
There is nothing that could drive me to do better, to improve Ireland. The landscape for deaf in Ireland is really positive now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always.
No.
And we don't have to talk about that, because we have to look forward. We don't need to look back. We can learn, you can acknowledge that there's things that were difficult, but you have to say, if you focus too much on the negativity, you're never going to see the positive side. You're never going to see what could be. So it's been really important to kind of drive it there. But we have ISL recognition now, which is fantastic.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I remember that day. I actually retweeted it like
amazing.
Mad. Yeah, it's lovely.
It's really, really exciting. My son is a complete sign language user. My daughter's spoken language. So from the same family, we have two different children.
And so can you sign then?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay. So what's
Very
the
poorly.
signal? What's the signal for? At the end, you can do thank you or something.
Oh yeah, I'll say thank you.
Thank
Like thank you, or like you're welcome, or whatnot. So we do learn sign. Also there's a little bit of judgment on, especially for women. I can see my husband's very confident in his sign, but sometimes I'm nervous doing it out and about. I'm nervous of the judgment that I'm going to get, whether I'm doing it properly, whether I'm articulating myself well. But I definitely have kind of lost that along the way. But people don't know that. They think they're the only one that's a little bit nervous, a little bit worried that they're not being just right. But you get just right. Perfect practice eventually will bring you to perfection. You'll get there. Communication just has to happen. Doesn't matter if it's pretty.
It's all about the community. Actually, do you know what? Everything's about communication,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's the word
Even
we
in
live in.
business, and it's about communicating and expanding your network. And so I remember actually when my daughter was diagnosed, I stopped working, and I the same. I wanted to focus on her, but I did miss that. And now, I mean, look at me now; it's totally different. Like it's kind of all like meant to happen, I think, because now look where I am. But I do like to use my following and my voice for good.
And you do.
I do.
Well
I do.
done,
Thank you.
Samantha.
Thank you. Oh, you noticed, did you? Great. That's great. But, you know, I just feel it's important that when you have such a big following to use it for good.
Yeah.
And that's why anything like, I know the Holy Family Deaf School, they did a video about awareness.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I actually volunteered and I said, look, send that video to me and I will share the hell out of it. And it got so much attention, so many views. And, you know, the thing about social media is we only, like, even us, we're on social media now doing this show, but even what you're saying, that support group, like these are the positive stories that people don't hear, so I'm really grateful that you're sharing that. And what about Rachel yourself? What's your favourite movie?
I'm going to be really cliche. It's A Wonderful Life. I just think that it's the most beautiful movie, and I watched it for the first time only a year ago.
Yeah.
And I watched it with the two children.
Right.
And I just loved it. And it warms my heart, and it's a Christmas movie, but
I love
actually
Christmas.
watched it about 2 months ago as well. I
Yeah.
loved it. It's
Yeah.
just the most beautiful movie. Yeah.
It is. It's lovely. It's lovely. And what about the best bit of advice you've ever gotten?
My husband actually gave me this advice, but it's not his. It's from a book that he read.
Yeah.
And he just said to me, you know, what's the most important step? And I said, yes, it's the first step. And he said, it's not the first step, it's the next step.
Ooh,
The most
very
important
good.
step in a journey is always the next step. So I always try and move forward just one step at a time, and aware that, you know, I have to have that little bit of confidence to take another one. And that's okay, as
That's
long as you do
lovely.
take it, you know. So
That's
that's the kind of
lovely.
advice that he gave me. Journey before destination.
I like.
That's very nice.
Your husband sounds great, by the way.
I don't know, but-
he sounds great. What's his name?
David.
David. I'm
Broderick.
sure he's watching now. So David, well done.
I know. He'll be delighted. If that's a motto in our house, journey before destination, but it's
That's
lovely.
wonderful. Isn't it lovely the way things stick in your head?
Yeah.
And who would be your biggest inspiration then?
Oh, definitely my daughter. Yeah. She's a strong, wonderful advocate for herself.
Yes.
One of the things that kind of I always worried about, I've said it already, like, you know, that gap, that communication, that bridge that we needed to get past. So I always worried that, you know, she would have struggles, or that she wouldn't kind of make her needs known. So we tried to kind of give her a little bit of attitude and promote her kind of strength and independence, and it has really come true.
Really?
Because I come from a family of all girls, no boys, 5 girls. Definitely I wanted my daughter to be strong, but she has impressed me and she inspires me. She makes me change my
Same
own
with mine, yeah.
ideology on things. When I worry about things, she's just, do it. You can, it's fine, you know, manage it, you know. Or if she feels excluded, she will say, I feel excluded now.
Really?
You know, you need to
well
change the way
done.
you've done that. Because I didn't want her sitting at the table going, oh, my parents aren't really, you know, including me, or I can't hear what's happening, or the dishwasher is on. And I always say, you know, you have to advocate for yourself. You should be strong, you know. You can't presume anyone is going to welcome you in. You know, if the door's closed, knock. If it's not been opened, open it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the point, you know. So she really inspires me, because I give the advice, but could I follow it? She can. So it makes me think I need to be better. I need to be more. So it's been wonderful.
I think you're doing a great job already, Rachel,
know,
I
but
have to
we
say.
try.
And that's the reason you're sitting on this couch, is because you came to my attention. So thank you so much, Rachel. Is
welcome.
any way that people can contact you?
Yeah, we have our public Facebook page, which is Our New Ears. If you search it in, many things should come up for you. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, with your help as well. We're connected with you on Twitter. And if anyone wants just to email us, just ournewears@gmail.com, we can be reached anytime.
ournewears@gmail.com.
Yes,
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Samantha.
much.